hanging down. The right rear shock has been on that car. This is going to be tough to get back in 2 laps. The right rear tire, they can change it, but it's got heavy suspension damage.
And you can see how thin those tires are. It just look like little flaps of rubber.
They are very, very thin sidewalls, only a couple ply to it. And the reason for that is so the tire will grow down the straightaway, more or less like put the car into overdrive. It changes gears, it gives a mile per hour, and then also it lets the tire roll into the car as it goes through the corners, and that gives the car side bite.
Drivers will tell you they can actually feel the car rise up as they come off the corners, as it just accelerates down the straightaway.
Absolutely.
Because of those tires.
Absolutely, especially on the longer straightaways. Anybody that's watched drag racing, you see, especially the top fuel cars, how those tires grow under throttle. That's what a sprint car tire will do, especially on a long straightaway. They come off the corner, that big wide tire is getting a good footprint on the racetrack. The further down the straightaway they go, that thing gets very tall and very narrow, and it gives them more straightaway speed back into the corner.
And guessing on that tire and which one to run and how much air pressure to run, how to work your stagger, the difference in size between the tire on the right and the left and the rear of the car is a big part of deciding how your car's going to run over the course of the night, whether you're going to be there at the end of the event.
And a lot of times, as you see Kaylee Garst going back up, but a lot of times that stagger you talked about is whether you're going to run the bottom of the racetrack or the top. If you're going to run the top of the racetrack, you can run a bigger left rear. If you're going to run the tighter part of the racetrack, the bottom, generally you need a smaller left rear tire.
And guess where to be and get it wrong, and you're done.
Absolutely.
Getting ready to go back to green. Jump, and he moves out in front of Saldana.
Absolutely, Dony Shatz benefited from that. Oh, we got a car going around.
One car around in the middle of the pack.
Tim Kading.
Yep. Tim Kading in the 11K.
Did it right in front of a lot of race cars and was able to get past by everybody, and no contact made from what I could see.
Tim Kading, the son of the legendary King of California, Brent Kading. Brent came here many times, never won the Nationals.
Tim has, I believe, 11 NST wins this year. Steve Kinser, his car was finished second to him 5 or 6 times. Get another look at it. Looks like he was by himself, maybe just looped the car. Boy, right there, very close. I believe that was Brian Paulus. A lot of cars going by. Ed Lynch slips by there. Very lucky no contact was made.
They're looking over his machine.
Brian Paulus just barely avoiding contact with Kading's car up in corner number 4.
Crew trying to decide if and what is wrong with the machine, and if Tim can just get back out. Looks like they don't see anything, Brad.
Yeah, I don't know if he thought something maybe was broke on the car, but he really had, it was no-brainer for him to come into the work area. He was going to go to the tail anyway, so he pulled the car in, had the crew look it over. He's going to refire the car and go back to the tail.
Well, we've seen Saldana get a good jump. We've seen Shatz get a good jump. Now they've each seen what the other knows and has. You give it the edge to anybody yet?
It all comes off out to that coming out of turn 4, and the guy that can get on the gas pedal first, but he's got to be in a part of the racetrack where he doesn't get the wheel spin. I'd say Dony Shatz has the advantage. There's a lot of moisture on the bottom coming out of turn 4. Joey, if he's stuck up in the middle of the racetrack there, Saldana on the outside, could get some wheel spin coming for the green.
These guys tend to run fuel oh so close to the edge because they want to keep these cars as light as they can. They've had a handful of laps under yellow. Are we in a window of trouble even yet?
Well, I hope not yet, but you're right. They've got small fuel tanks on these things because it definitely affects how the car handles. So they're full right now, but some will run 28 gallons, some run a 33-gallon tank.
And we're going to idle around again. And when you're pumping 850 horsepower, you're sucking a lot of fuel through.
Well, and the key, these guys, they have a fuel shutoff under the steering box, and what they will do, they'll lean the fuel down on that valve to try to save fuel under these caution flags. They'll actually lean it down, and sometimes they'll forget. You got to leave your hand on that valve. You don't want to forget, but they're trying to save fuel even at this point.
Well, I talked to Tim Kading's crew. He said he ran over some stuff on the racetrack in 3 and 4. That's why he came down into the work area. He wanted to make sure there was no debris stuck in the tires or no damage to the car.
Well, as thin as those tires are, as we've talked about, boy, you can't risk that.
Yeah, and again, it really was a good choice for him to duck in and see if there's anything wrong with the car.
This large sea of fans ready to watch him go back to green. whips it up around the fence. It comes off the 2 with the lead.
Look at that, they're going to change it to the other end. Either again, they had no choice when you're running second. You go the opposite direction as the lead car goes.
Joey Saldana in the white number 9 with the red and black accents. A car owned by NASCAR Nextel Cup star Casey Kane leads the Knoxville Nationals. Dony Shatz in the black 15
Look at
dives to the bottom.
The crossover right there. But what these guys don't want to do is panic and overdrive the car and try to think, well, this guy's going to get me beat already. If somebody gets him, you get behind me there, look, both of them go to the top. You just want to focus on trying to hit your marks and not overdrive the car and overheat the rear tires.
Dony Shatz, one of the most superstitious drivers in the field. This week, for the first time, the family came into town from the south side as opposed to the north side. They just about flipped out. All these superstitions that they've normally dealt with this year for the first time went the opposite direction. There's Joey Saldana's wife watching intently as her husband in the number 9 battles for his first ever win with another first-time hopeful in Dony Shatz. The family told me last night maybe the change in superstitions will work in our favor this year.
Hey, whatever it takes. Some guys aren't superstitious and some are. Whatever it takes to try to win this race.
He is so intense on his superstitions, Dony Shatz running second in line there, that he likes all of his driver uniforms washed in vinegar. They couldn't find any vinegar, his wife. His wife had to go all last night hunting for vinegar. She missed the races just so she could help with the superstitions.
See Steve Kinser trying to fight his way up through.
That's Steve in the green number 11 upstairs. That's Paul McMahon in the black 20 on the bottom. The car owned by Tony Stewart. And right behind him, the man that drove that car to 3 Knoxville National wins here, Danny Lasowski.
Looks like he's up around 16th place. We saw coming out of the B main. Kinser on the bottom of the racetrack, gets by Alley.
That's Billy Alley in the yellow 17G. Just in front of him is Fred Rahmer. Now Lasowski trying to get around him.
And look at Lasowski, he had to turn right to try to pull out around the outside of Alley. Looks like he's a lot faster in the middle of the corner. Now Alley slides up. Lasowski may get a run on him out of 2.
That's a fight for 14th. Now Lasowski to the bottom. It worked so well for him in the B, and it helps him take over 14th position.
And the bottom of the racetrack is still in really good shape. What I mean by that, look right there, the dark brown that you see, that's a lot of moisture as they still get through the corners on the bottom of the racetrack.
He needed yellow flags to get into the A main through the B. He's going to need a lot of them here tonight to win the A.
Oh, absolutely will.
Back to the front of the field. Joey Saldana continues to lead in the white and red number 9. But Shatz working the bottom.
But Shatz got hung up a little bit behind Tony Bruce, the lap car. Caught him in the wrong place. That was entering the corner.
You think the pressure's tight for the drivers. Joey Saldana's wife having a hard time dealing with it as well.
I watched it the other night when he was in that heat race, and I told her, I said, she's more fun to watch than the racing because she is so animated. That's Shannon, Joey's wife, Shannon, and look at this. She's really going to be nervous now. Shots at the run on the inside.
And I guarantee you, Donnie's wife, Erica, feeling it just as badly.
Look at that. He gets by and drives. Bill Klingbeil, his PR guy, told me that Dony Shatz has finished second 13 times this year. 8 times he came back and won the next race. Guess what? He ran second the other night in his preliminary.
And in the 14, the black car, upstairs is Jason Myers in 3rd, behind Dony Shatz's black and yellow number 15. And Shatz is starting to pull away.
Well, it looks like obviously they want to set this car up for later in the race. We're only lap 14 into this thing, about halfway through. Oh, he kind of got stuck there right in the middle of the racetrack. His crew chief, Ricky Warner, Ron Chambers, the engine builder, went over that car, as all these crews do. Willie Kane on Joey's car. Everybody working hard today. But again, they were so fast in the scramble last night, came from the last row up to second, right around the middle to the bottom of the racetrack, and that's where he's running right now.
Dony Shatz halfway to completing a dream as he works around the 26 of Shane Stewart. There is Jason Myers and Joey Saldana. Saldana in that white, red, and black number 9 still holds second place down to the bottom of the racetrack. There goes Jason Myers, the black